Hey everyone, welcome to the Happy Soul Show, where we believe the impossible is absolutely possible, and we believe that every soul is on their own soul's journey. No matter what path you're on, you are welcome here. My name is Janine, I'm your host, and I'm the owner of Happy Soul Healing. And tonight I am excited to welcome Alyssa Gibson from New Jersey to the show. She is a QHHT practitioner, which is quantum healing hypnosis technique, which I also do. And she is also a SCHH, almost SCHH practitioner. She has two more classes left, and that is soul centered healing hypnosis. Welcome, Alyssa. I'm so excited to have you here tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So tonight I want to get to know Alyssa a little more. So I want you to tell us about you. You had told me before that you had an awakening back in 2019. You used to be a hairdresser and you had an awakening and that kind of sparked your journey. So tell us a little bit more about what happened.
Yeah, so in 2019, so my husband and I split up and we were married for a very long time and he got a crystal meth addiction and I had a son during this time and I couldn't balance all of it. So
Yeah.
I kicked him out. I kicked him out and then I couldn't afford therapy being like, newly single and having to pay rent. So I
How long were
decided to
you married?
Um, 2006, but we were high school sweethearts, and I'm going to be 44, so we were together from, like, 17, 18, and this was 2019, so, like, 5 years ago?
Yeah, sad.
So, like, 38, 39, something like that. Um, couldn't afford therapy, so I decided to try meditation, and after I started meditating, a lot of things just kinda started happening. Um Number synchronicities and finding dimes all over the place.
Hmm. Okay.
Um, I was in a house that I couldn't afford by myself, so I started looking for my own house that I could afford, and through number sequences, I actually found my house, which was pretty cool.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and then, things got a little quiet because I was kind of focusing on, my new home and, fully like, integrating into being like a single mom. And
Yeah.
I was a hairdresser still at the time. So I was like kind of working a lot. And then COVID hit. And the hairdressers were the first ones that were kind of shut down.
Yeah.
So I had all this time on my hand. So I started meditating even more. And then I had this amazing meditation where I was kind of shown the meaning of life, that we don't necessarily die. We just move on from vessel to vessel. And it was changed my whole perspective on everything, to be completely honest with you. And I thought I was actually turning into like a witch because I didn't quite know what was happening.
Yeah.
Um, and then I started dreaming about Atlantis, which, is
Wow.
something different. And I had
Yeah.
no idea what Atlantis was. I just remember waking up and like, oh my God, Atlantis, what is this? So, I kind of Googled it because I didn't really know what it was. And I found 2 names, Elizabeth April and Dolores Cannon. So I kinda, like, looked into both of those names, and Elizabeth April is amazing. I don't know if you know who she is or not.
No, I'll have to look
She's
that up.
she's a channeler. She channels ETs. She's, like, highly connected. And
Okay.
then, there's Dolores Cannon, which I know
Yeah. She's my
quantum healing.
hero. I always hoped, like wish she could have been my grandma. She's amazing.
Yeah, so that's how it was for me. Like, I saw her picture and I'm like, "Oh my god, she looks like my grandmom, and she
I know.
dressed like
Your
how
grandma.
my." Yeah, she even dressed like how my grandmom dressed. I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh, this is super cool." And then I found out that she was no longer alive, so then I was, like, kinda bummed out. But they had like, her daughter, kept it kinda going, and they had, like, a Facebook live streaming show. So I checked out a couple episodes, and they were talking about a Sarah Brexman Kosame on there, and, how she was getting ready to release this book called A Hypnotist's Journey to Atlantis, and I'm like, "Oh, this isn't a coincidence."
Great. Did you get the
So
book?
I got Yeah, so I got the book and I cried throughout the whole entire book because it just resonated with me so very much,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, well, this is where I'm going. And then, I found out that you could learn like the hypnosis technique. So I thought about it for like a good year, and then I decided to just kind of go for it. Because after
For
COVID,
it.
things kind of changed, morale changed, clientele for being a hairdresser, they changed. And I was just like, I got to get out of this.
Yeah.
So I just went for it, and it's the best decision I've ever made.
Now, have you, I know, I'm sure you've had a QHHT session on yourself
So
or
I've only had, yeah, so I've
past
had,
life regression.
yeah, so I live in New Jersey, so not a lot of people around me do QHHT,
Mhm.
but I was able to find one person and I did have it. I did not go into a past life though. I
Mm,
couldn't. And
yeah,
my higher self came through though, so I was able to speak with my higher self. Now SCHH though,
yeah,
the other modality that I'm getting trained in, I have had multiple sessions of that.
yeah. Well, my question was going to be, did you have an Atlantis past life?
So through SCHH, I have found out that yes, I do have a lot of interest within Atlantis. So SCHH is past life regression too. There's like two
Mhm.
parts to it. So I was able to finally get a successful past life regression, but the information that came through about Atlantis, I actually channeled a being, a Palladian,
Yeah.
and then the Palladian channeled a higher being than the Palladian from like an Atlantean council. So it was really,
Right.
really
So,
cool.
okay. So what did you learn in that? What did it say?
Specifically like about me, about my life in Atlantis. So I've had like a couple of lives in Atlantis. I was on both sides of like good and bad. So the Atlanteans,
Mm,
they did experiments on people. They were way more technologically advanced
yeah.
than we were.
They abused that power though. That's why it was destroyed. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was on that end of it, but then I was also on the receiving end of it. So, like, I experimented on people, and then I was experimented on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was on both sides of the coin with that. Um, but I got bit by a cat when I was little. My aunt's cat bit me, and, like, I kind of always disliked cats from then on, and now I know why, because the experimenting was kinda going with, cat DNA, like, mixing cat DNA with, like, human DNA.
Wow.
And yeah, so the cat
That's interesting.
yeah, so the cat didn't like me for that reason, and that's why I kinda got bit. I mean, I
Mm,
was only, like, 5, and you don't really know
yeah.
these things when you're little, but it all
Yeah.
makes sense to me now.
Yeah. You pissed
So,
that cat off.
yeah, crazy.
Wow. That's funny. Oh, I love that. Yeah, it's so fun to learn, isn't it? Like things we would never in a million years imagine that can come out during a QHHT session, or I'm sure SCHH as well. And that's why we always tell the client, don't go in with expectations because most likely you're going to see something that you would have never guessed seeing, whether that's you as an ET or you as the other, the opposite gender or whatever. And yeah, so go in with no expectations because it can be completely wild what you will see.
Yeah, and sometimes it could really freak a person out too, what comes out, especially if they're not prepared for it.
Yeah, yeah.
There
But
is
it's
that
so
too.
fun too. It's so fun. And
It
I
is fun.
love I love doing past life regressions because I get to kind of, live vicariously through their story and ask all the questions and it's like the closest we can get to time travel, right? So it's
Yeah,
super
no,
fun.
I love past life regression. They're super
Yeah.
fascinating, and they explain so much about a person. People don't realize that they carry junk from lifetime to lifetime,
Yep.
and the reason why they may suffer or be a certain way is because of a past life.
Yeah. And not only that, but you can even be physical issues that you have in this life that could have been carried over from a past life. And once you figure out, like during a past life regression, that it came from a past life, you can let it go. And a lot of the time you can be healed from that.
Yeah, I love when that happens, it's amazing. I've
Yeah.
had a couple of sessions where, injuries to shoulders, knees, stuff like that, they were just kinda released. Most recently, someone came some for an SCHH session, someone was, feeling that they were kind of heavy, like, as far as weight is concerned, and, since their session about 3, 4 weeks ago, they've began to lose weight, so that's really cool too.
Wow, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so this whole journey that you started in 2019, that's what led you to QHHT and then the SCHH. And for anyone out there watching, QHHT is quantum healing hypnosis technique. Both of us do that modality, and basically it is a very powerful healing technique. It's hypnosis, of course, and we visit 1 to 3 past lives, and then we talk to your higher self at the end, which can be very powerful because you can ask questions about your life, about relationships, about finances, about your purpose, and you can also get physical healing if it's appropriate. So, what I want you to tell me a little more about is this SCHH. Can you explain a little bit more about what it is and the maybe the difference in the process? And you did say,
Yes.
sorry, you did say it can be and actually is recommended to do this online so you can get virtual sessions.
Yeah, so it just kind of, broadens the clientele base. QHHT is in person only. SCHH is like BQH in that manner where you can do
Mm-hmm.
it online. And holding up past life regression or SCHH is entity release with chakra rebuild and aura repair as well. Can be very successful online. I've held a lot of successful sessions so far. And yeah, so SCHH, it's a quantum hypnosis modality. It's healing. It's amazing healing. Um, Created by Laura Whitworth. She's based over in the UK, and she was having quantum healing sessions where things were kind of happening, and things were kind of disguising themselves as, people's higher selves. So she said something isn't right here, and she just kind of deep dove into it, and she came up with entity release. So that is actually the forefront of SCHH, entity release with chakra rebuild and aura repower. So basically, what entities are negative attachments, thought forms, parasites, all kinds of things that we can't see in this 3D
Yeah.
reality. They're all like fourth dimensional, lower astral things. And if a person goes through any kind of trauma or grief, anything that lowers one's vibration, they're more susceptible to pick up these negative things, beings, entities, whatever you want to call them. Um, and they attach to people's chakras. So, we have 7 chakras. We're, supposed to be all functioning, all cohesively. But if a chakra
Well, that's
system kind of gets,
interesting. Yeah, I didn't
yeah,
realize that they attach to chakras.
yes.
Okay.
So depending on what a person might go through would be like the chakra that they attach to. So, if you go through something during childhood, your root chakra is typically affected because that's your stability. Your parents are your stability, but say something happens, at home and, you get spooked or freaked out or God forbid something really bad happens, it kind of opens you up and then they come in through the root and then they'll go up to like your sacral chakra. And then when you're like a teenager, your hormones are all over the place and you're experimenting with different things, dating and all that kind of stuff. And then also like bad things can happen, as far as just creeps being out there. I don't really want to put too much energy into it, but you catch my drift. I think like
Yeah.
just things can happen. And if somebody goes through that, then their sacral is affected and they automatically pick up an entity, and then the entity kind of stays with them almost like their whole lives basically, and it causes all kinds of problems, with sex and,
Yeah.
stability and stuff like that. And then the solar plexus, the stomach, so you don't eat very well, you eat a lot of junk food or McDonald's or, lower vibrational stuff, they can attach to the solar plexus and affect your eating habits, and the list goes on and on. Throat, being suppressed as a child or smoking, drugs, they can affect the throat that way.
Yeah.
All different kinds of things can happen. And
Gotcha.
negative chords from like people just
Mhm.
somebody giving you a bad attitude and you just kind of being like, ew, I hate you. Well, right there, that creates a negative chord between you and that other person. Road rage even kind of does it. So all
Wow.
kinds of, yeah, you
Okay.
know, whenever a person lowers their vibration, it sends off like a beacon to these fourth dimensional entities, and they pick up on that vibration and they're drawn just like it's a light, like we all have a light within us. But when you're like lower vibrational, you have like a signal that's kind of put out there too. And they just kind of pick up on it and then they'll feed off of it.
Yeah. So the process itself, is it, there's an induction and there's hypnosis, right? Is that part similar to
Yeah.
QHHT?
So there is past life. So typically, if a person would be interested in having a session, it's usually 2 sessions because the forefront is entity release and chakra rebuild. A client kind of comes to me and, I have paperwork that they have filled out. Like, you don't have paperwork in QHHT. There's paperwork to be filled out and it just kind of goes through the chakras. And then it's, personal paperwork. So it just kind of asks, questions like what you've been through in your life. And you just kind of check everything off. And then, like, in the pre-session chat, we just kind of go over the paperwork. And then, yes, it is almost like a past life reduction type of induction.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Gotcha.
but if a person wants a past life regression, it's usually in a second session. It's usually like 2
Okay.
sessions that this is. The first one, 2.5 hours takes up the entire time for entity release and chakra rebuild. After I check and then actually the really cool thing about this modality is the use of the archangels. So we call in a couple of the archangels to help and surround the client, and then Archangel Michael, um, he does majority of the removing, and then the other angels kind of assist, and they take these entities, into the light because entities, even though they're lower vibrational, negative, they might put bad thoughts in a person's head or have someone's self-worth like come completely down. They have a light. It's just kind of turned off because they're negatively
Mm,
polarized for whatever reason. So we kind of like show them that they have a light and that they have a spark, and once they see that, they're more than likely willing to go. AI, that's a completely different story. AI, they don't have a light. They're basically, robots from another dimension, and they're very real too, and they're a nuisance. And
wow. Okay.
yeah, that's a like
You know that.
that's probably like a whole other conversation that I could talk about for like an hour.
Wow.
Yeah,
I hadn't
so
heard of that. I have not heard of that. So that's a different take on it.
yeah,
So
AI, like,
AI.
yeah, artificial
Yeah, and
intelligence.
I have heard some Palladian channels speak of AI beings basically too. Um, but I've not really heard much on it. So it's interesting that you said that.
Yeah, they're trying to take over this reality. They want, as a consciousness, they don't want us, shifting to 5D.
Hmm.
So they're trying to take over the 3D reality, like the
Yeah, well, we can't
Matrix.
allow that.
No, no, they're really trying hard. They really are, but luckily for, modalities that can remove them, it's making their job a little bit more difficult. But yeah, they're a pain, they're a nuisance, they're relentless. They don't give up. So I'm in an internship for SCHH, and you have to hold practice sessions, and every single practice session that I've held so far, each client has had some type of AI attached to them.
Really?
And the
Wow.
AI attaches to the third eye. So it like, kind of stops a person from progressing or becoming, who they're supposed to be. But also these AI, they download all the information that we have and then they send it back to like their overlords and yeah.
Okay.
It's
So
interesting.
tell me this. How do you um I guess I'm trying to think about how the session works and how you get this information. So do you just feel it? Do you get that information from spirit, or do you talk to the higher self and get that?
So yeah, so the higher self is definitely involved in this whole entire process. Typically, I believe just like with QHHT, our clients are led to us for a reason. So I feel like, the higher selves kind of facilitate almost everything. They get you in
Absolutely.
contact. Yeah, they get you in contact with the person. So they're more than willing to help out and step forward. So some of these entities will speak through the client. And then if the entity is shy and doesn't want to say too much or doesn't really want to talk, then I'll talk to the client and then the higher self kind of is like, the communicator and will relay the message. So yeah, it's actually I'm having full-blown conversations with these beings and these
Mm.
AI. Um I can also kind of see what's going on. I've always kind of been able to see into like the astral since like
Yeah.
childhood. And I kind of turned it off and it's turned back on now that I'm doing this work. And with each session, it gets like stronger and stronger and stronger. So I do typically have a sense if somebody has something going on, but no, they communicate through the client. The client's like a
Yeah.
channel.
Gotcha, gotcha. Now, are you ever afraid that they're going to attach to you, or do you have a special, like some kind of something you do to make sure that you stay clear?
Yeah, so like I'm humongous on spiritual hygiene. I have a practice that I do every night before I go to bed. But then I also have a practice, right before I have a session and I use crystals. Crystals are very, important. And then no, so at the beginning I was kind of like, I am like kind of hesitant that these things might attach to me, but I'm not now. I feel like I was kind of built to do this. I was made to do this work. I
Yeah,
was basically led to it. AI though, they're a whole different story. I have had to deal with AI since doing this work, and I've had a couple AI attached to me, just kind of coming like through the lines or reaching out to me as they're being removed. So it is kind of, I guess, creepy, freaky,
yeah.
but I can have them removed very easily. I can
Okay,
just
that was my next question. It's like, if one attaches, what do you do to remove it?
Yeah, so I kind of like, extended my practice with SCHH. Laura Whitworth also has like an entity, like a personal entity release class that I took, how
Mhm.
to clear like your children and yourself. So I know how to clear myself, but then also I could easily get an SCHH session from a fellow trainee or practitioner to get
Yeah,
cleared if I think I have something major attached to me.
gotcha.
Luckily, I've been able to kind of just clear them myself.
Clear them yourself. Okay.
Yeah, but I haven't
And
had any major issues.
how do you know they're gone?
So, I can read, like, energy, I guess. That's another reason why I feel like I was kinda, like, led into this, so I have a sense. Like, my personality doesn't change, but I could feel it, like, in my third eye. And then typically, like, if an entity or something attaches, like, to me specifically, I can't speak for anybody else, things get kinda cloudy, or it almost feels like I have, like, a helmet on the top of my head that's not,
Mm,
like, on my head. I don't know how else to really explain it,
mm.
and you can feel when it's kinda lifted out of you. I have had an experience where I could actually feel the thing go.
Yeah. So
So
it's kind of heavy. It sounds like it's kind of a heavy feeling.
yeah, like, dense, I guess, is a good word
Hmm.
to use, like a dense yeah.
Okay.
You
Very,
just I
very
don't
good
really know how to
though.
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't really know. I can only speak from, like, personal, like, it just feel like you're just it's like a fuzzy feeling. It's like you just don't feel you feel fuzzy. I don't know how
Don't
else
feel
to really
clear-headed.
Yeah, you don't feel clear. So I had an entity attached to me last year. and it was making me very forgetful. Like, I wasn't really retaining, like, any kind of information. It was just like I felt like I was in outer space, which, I mean, isn't really a bad I wouldn't mind being out in outer space, but this was, like, a completely different type of feeling, and, after I had it removed, it was like, "Whoa, okay, this makes a lot of sense now why I was feeling that way, and I no
Right,
longer
the
feel that
fog
way."
lifted and you were clear again?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. A fog
Yeah,
was lifted for sure.
gotcha. Wow. Okay, so where can someone find you if they want to book a session, an SCHH session with you or QHHT
So, I am on the QHHT official website,
forum
listed as
or
a
on
level.
the website for Find a Practitioner?
Yes, I am in that spot, level 2 under level 2 in New
Mhm.
Jersey. Pretty soon I'll be on the SCHH official website. I have 2 more sessions to do, and then I get to hand them over to Laura Whitworth, and then she goes over them, and then she'll hopefully put me on the website.
Yeah.
I have my
What is
own.
that website?
It's
Do you know it?
S Yeah, it's Soul Center Healing Hypnosis. It might be SCHH official, or you could just type in Soul Center Healing Hypnosis, and that would come up. I do have my own Facebook page. It's Alyssa Marie Gibson, QHHT, and SCHH. And then, traditional email. I don't have my own personal website yet. Once I get certified with SCHH, that's my next thing to do. So sometime in June, I'll have my own website.
Good, good. And we can add your Facebook page
Oh,
in the
yes,
comments once we're done tonight.
absolutely. Yes.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So what is your favorite part of working in this field, the quantum healing arena?
Well, in the beginning, it was, past life regression, finding hidden knowledge, finding, as I mentioned, I have an Atlantean past life.
Mhm.
I'm also part of the hybrid program. So, ETs, I love ETs. I love anything to do with all of that. Um, so that's really cool. But specifically for SCHH is actually entity release.
Yeah,
So needed at this time because, a lot of people's sufferings or, whatever they have going on is because of outside energy that they don't realize that they have attached to them from just going through grief or
yeah,
trauma or something like that. So being able to remove these entities for clients, I love it. It's amazing. It's an amazing type of healing, and the results are instantaneous. They wake up, the morning of a session being one way, and then they wake up the next day and they're who they're truly meant to be. They're their full, functional self.
yeah, yeah. Wow, that's awesome. I love that. So what has been your most interesting session? Now that could be either QHHC or the SCHH, but I think all of us have like a story of like, something that was kind of off the wall or extra interesting.
Like me being the facilitator or the client or
Either,
both.
either.
Well, I had an SCHH sessions out on myself, and, I was able to channel a Palladian, and then the Palladian was channeling a council of
Oh yeah,
beings.
yeah.
So
You
that was
mentioned it, so
yeah,
that's
that was,
indeed.
next level amazing. Um, but for me, actually, SCHH, about 2, maybe 3 weeks ago now, I had a client come through for entity release, and then they had a past life regression, so they did the 2 sessions. And their past life was actually, I guess, what you would consider almost like a typical-ish past life. They went back to, um, they were a princess in a castle during like the time of King Arthur. And
Okay.
the information that was coming through was really cool. Like they were able to use the stars to figure out weather patterns, how to
Mhm.
grow like grain and to help animals and stuff like that. But the higher self part was absolutely amazing. Just a lot of love just kind of just coming through, and I was able to experience the love too because my client and I have past life connection, and I cried. It was just like kind of like just a very loving session, just a lot of love coming through. And then the session that I held last week for SCHH, this particular person was hooked into the matrix. So they were literally, so talking about AI again, they had cords that were basically hooked into the matrix, like circuit panels, computer panels, and they had hundreds and hundreds of cords that were attached to this one's solar plexus. And it was a lot of work energetically for the client. And Archangel Zadkiel and Archangel Metatron were pulling out these cords. And as they were pulling out these cords, this extra energy came in and it was super bright, like this bright, shining energy. And so I just kind of shut my eyes and just kind of, tapped into it. And it was Jesus. Jesus
Mm.
Yeshua came through. And he just kind of shown some, extra love and extra light. And again, I started crying because I was able to receive some of that as well. And after the entity release was done, I spoke with the client's higher self and I asked them, like, was that really Jesus that came through? And the higher self was like, yes, this one had a past life with Jesus. And we got to talk about that a little bit too. So that was like
Wow, that's awesome.
really cool.
I had a QHHT session not too long ago, and something similar happened. Jesus came through, so that was pretty
You
that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, you can't deny the energy. It's just
Yes,
like it takes over
the
your whole
energy in
entire.
the room, you could feel the power of just the light. It was just pure love.
So, so strong, pure love.
Yeah,
Yes,
it was
absolutely. I'm getting the
absolutely pure
chills
love.
now just
Hmm.
just remembering it. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah,
We're so blessed and lucky to be able to do this work for people.
yeah, yes, absolutely. So, I guess my last question is, in your opinion, why should someone get a session?
So, specifically for SCHH, because that's kind of where I'm at with my journey right
Yeah,
now. It's kind of like, well, all I want to do. I mean, I'll still hold a QHHT session, but I just absolutely love this. It can change a person's life. It really can. And like I said, people have these things attached to them that they don't even realize that they have attached. And once they're removed, they're like a whole different person, but for like, the greater good. Like I can use myself for an example. I had a session and I had all kinds of things attached to me that I did not even realize that I had attached to me.
yeah.
Um, I had a weird marijuana habit. Um, I would definitely say that I was addicted to it. I was smoking a lot, more than the average bear. And I had a session, and whatever was attached to me was making me smoke, and I quit instantly. No desire. I
Wow.
still have no desire. Um, So that changed for me, and I also had something attached to me that gave me, like, a weird eating type disorder where not that, like, I was a anorexic or bulimic or anything, but I couldn't eat, like, a full meal, and I couldn't gain weight, and I would go out of my way to try to gain weight because I was underweight, like, basically, I feel like my whole adult life. I got pregnant, and then after I had, my son, I went right back to this unhealthy weight, but the doctors never really said anything to me because it was always the same weight, but it was definitely underweight. So I had this thing, like, attached to me that was causing me to not eat properly or just was I don't know what it was doing really, but since it's been removed, my appetite is amazing, and I've gained 19 pounds, which, I mean, to
Wow.
somebody that might seem like a lot, but not for somebody who was only like 85 pounds, 5'1", 85 pounds.
Wow.
Now I weigh 110 pounds, and I feel amazing. Everything is great. So, yeah, so
Awesome.
I could change a person's whole entire life for the better.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. So thank you for sharing. I appreciate you being on here tonight and sharing with me. This is wonderful work. These are deep healing modalities that are changing people's lives, and
Yes.
it is needed as the collective consciousness is starting to wake up more and more. More and more people are awakening, and they need this. They need this healing. They need this help. And so I love, love, love. Um,
Yes.
I love this. Okay, so now we are going to do some live readings. I'm going to be reading from the Akashic, if I can get it over here, Akashic Tarot deck. And Alyssa is also a reader. She is going to be reading. And so just comment. Just comment if you want a reading. Sorry if anyone's watching on YouTube, it only works on Facebook. I can only see the comments from Facebook on here. So
Do you want me to do I could do like a collective reading for someone who might watch this later, or I could just pull for individuals? What do you want me to
yeah, I
do?
think we'll pull for individuals.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll pull for individuals,
And what kind of
and
deck
we
are you
can take
using?
turns, or we can both do readings, just whatever feels right. So let's see, Robin Kenyon wants a reading. If you have a specific question, just ask it in the comments. If you don't, we can just do a general. And Alyssa, would you like to start and pull a card for
You can
Robin?
go ahead because I'm gonna grab a deck.
Oh, you got to grab a deck. Okay. All right,
Yes.
Robin, I'm going to pull a card for you if you don't have a specific question. Okay. All right. Here's your card. Okay. So you get let me see if I can pull it up here. The Queen of Forces. So the Queen of Forces, this card is telling me that you've got it's kind of like maybe not a decision to make, but maybe something pulling you in two different directions. And so you're trying to balance both of these things, or it could be multiple things. I'm feeling like that it's multiple things that are pulling you in different directions, and maybe you're overwhelmed or overworked, or it could be also an emotional pull. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's like physical things that you're doing that's keeping you busy. It could be, but definitely feeling that there is something pulling you in multiple directions, and it's getting you overwhelmed. And what I'm hearing is slow down, take a deep breath, and you need to work on taking care of you. Taking care of you instead of taking care of everyone else all the time. It's okay to take care of everyone else, especially if that is kind of where your heart is to take care of other people. But you also, you can't drink from an empty cup, or what is I don't know. You can't pour from an empty cup. That's the saying. But that's what I'm seeing here, is that the Queen of Forces is a very strong woman, but she can't do it all. And that there's something pulling you in multiple directions, and you need to take care of you in the process. Hopefully that makes sense. All right. Matt Wills.
Oh, that's my buddy.
Yeah. I saw him comment above when we first came on. So, yeah, do you want to pull a card for Matt?
Sure. So I grabbed spirit animals. Let's see.
Awesome.
Oh, came out right away. Oh, let me see if I can line that up there. Buffalo, abundance. Abundance and liberation are finally on the way. It comes to you now to remind you of the amazing manifesting power of gratitude. You will always have plenty when you express gratitude to every part of creation. So Matt actually, his session was the one that I kind of spoke of, where Jesus came through. I hope he doesn't mind me saying that. But I do believe that abundance is definitely on his way now, from his release. And he definitely deserves it.
Awesome. All right, Renee. I will pull a card for Renee. And I know I should have been doing this, but we pull up all of these comments as we go here. Okay. All right. Matt says you can also get from really confident to and positive to confused and depressed from previous experience. That's a clear sign you have an attachment. Okay. So that was when when we were talking about entity
Yeah, he
attachment.
had he had a lot going on. And I met him through SCHH. I didn't know him. Well, actually, I met him through an alternate Facebook page. But he is also learning SCHH as well.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, Renee, I'm going to pull your card. All right, Renee, you get, if I can get it in the screen, the light of the world. And this one makes me giggle a little bit because if you knew Renee, you would know she really is a light. She is just loves people, loves taking care of people, loves healing people. She is an energy healer and such powerful energy that comes from her. And she just loves people. And that's what I'm seeing here is that she is absolutely a light to the world, and to keep doing that work and to keep moving forward in that journey. And I know Renee that you've questioned that before, is like, am I supposed to move forward with energy work? Am I supposed to move? And absolutely, I believe absolutely. However, this card also tells me something else. If you can see the card, you see the guy, he's kind of standing in the window. He's paying attention to something else, and he's not seeing the light. So I think that's telling me that there are distractions that are going to try to get in the way of you moving forward with the work that you want to do and need to do. So just watch out for those distractions and just pay attention. Pay attention. That's what I'm hearing, is pay attention for the opportunities to do the work that really is your life's purpose. And that is energy healing and working in the spiritual world and loving people. All right. Awesome. Awesome. Patty. Okay. Would you like to pull a card for Patty?
Sure. I do the flip method, whatever falls or flips. So it might take a sec. Oh, so 2 actually came out. Let me see if I can line that up. Frog, transition, and dragon, passion. So frog, this is a powerful time of change. You are being called to connect with the world of emotions and feminine energies. You may also need to engage in a process of cleansing, whether it's physical, emotional, spiritual, or energetic. So with that being said, maybe have an SCHA session. You can add crystals to your life to, help with the spiritual side of thing. Meditation, getting out in nature. Something is about to happen. Some type of transition is about to occur. Dragon, passion. The dragon is a reminder of your strong will and fiery personality. It is also a symbol of passion and fire. You're being asked to practice self-control and be cautious so that your passion does not lead into trouble. So just as you go through this transition, I guess just kind of be careful, maybe. Just
I'm hearing
don't get ahead of yourself. Yeah, don't get ahead of yourself. Just kind of be aware. I don't know if this person is spiritual, but I mean, they might be on the verge of a spiritual awakening of some sort. Or if they are already in a spiritual awakening, it might bust wide open.
Okay.
Just be
So
prepared.
be ready.
Yes.
Okay, all right. And now Marie, it says, I do Alyssa. So Alyssa, if you would want to read a card for her, I know it's my turn, but since she mentioned you specifically.
You got it.
I'm guessing you know Marie.
So I was a hairdresser with her. Yes.
Oh, fun.
I love her. I love her very much. She's a great person. Okay. Woof. Inner strength. House Stark Marie. She'll know what that means. You may be facing a challenge or feel less than prepared for. This is a reminder that you have all the tools in your spiritual treasure chest to handle this effectively. Take a step back and try to take a look at it with fresh eyes. Just breathe, Marie. Go deep. You'll be able to figure it out, just like you've kind of figured out everything that's been thrown at you. And I love
Nice,
you.
nice. Okay, so Matt said, when is the best time for me to get back into training? I'm guessing he was wanting a card pulled for that.
Go ahead. You can do that. Yeah, with your
you can
tarot.
do that.
I don't think my animal spirit guides would have something in there like with that.
All right, Matt. Okay, so you get the reflection card, and what I'm hearing from the reflection card is you need to look within yourself, inside yourself, for the answer, first of all. But okay. So I'm hearing, I don't know what kind of training you mean. I don't know if you're meaning SCHH training. Is that what he's talking about? Probably.
I'm like 99% certain that's what he means.
Yeah. I guess I heard 6 months. I don't know what that means exactly. I don't know if that means wait 6 months.
I resonate with that.
I'm hearing that you know the answer. I'm hearing that you don't have to ask the question, that you know deep inside what the answer is for you. But I did hear 6 months. So
I resonate with that.
Okay. All right. Let's see. We've got Melissa Ann. Would you like to pull a card for her?
Sure. I know her too.
Oh, awesome. I'm trying to make sure I don't miss anyone.
You can pull a card for Melissa too if you like. We could both pull, maybe?
Sure.
Yeah?
Okay. Are you feeling like we both need a pull?
Yeah,
Sure.
we could both pull for her.
All right. Okay. I have it.
Ooh, I got mine too. She's going to like this one.
Okay. So you got, okay, go ahead. Do your
Oh,
turn.
I'm sorry. This might be good for me to read this and then lead into your card because I don't know what you pull, but Turkey, good news. You may soon receive an important but very unexpected gift. Accept this with deep respect. Someone has sacrificed a lot to help you open doors and grow. A lot of things will change for the better.
Okay. Do you have a message to give with that, or is that?
She's very deserving of something good to kind of come her way. I don't know what the gift will be, but it might not be like something, like an actual like materialistic type gift. It might be like kind of like something else. But she'll be able to use it to kind of figure things out and move forward as she should, I think.
Okay. Yeah. The reason I'm laughing is because the card I pulled and the message I got kind of went with that, but it's the community card, but I got the reverse card. So the reverse community is telling me that you don't, how do I say this? Let's see. You need a group of people to, maybe I'm hearing that you don't have a group of like-minded people that you can hang out with, that you can build community with. But I'm hearing that you need to start building that community, that you have a lot to offer, that you have a lot of love, a lot of wisdom, and that, yeah, and that maybe, yeah, I'm hearing that you don't have a whole lot of community of those like-minded people, but it's time to start building them instead of waiting on them to come. Instead of waiting and wondering, why don't I have this community that I need? It's time to start building that community. Yeah, hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, I can overall see that.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Robin said, made a lot of sense. You nailed it. Thank you. Good, good, good. Matt said, it's fine. I have no problem with it. I think that was about you sharing his session.
Okay.
Okay, Renee. Thank you, Renee.
I like her last name is very similar to mine, Gibson.
It is. Hers is
I'm Gibson.
Yeah. Good. Yep. Patty says, thank you. Jason would like one. Okay. All right.
Oh my God, that's my ex's name. He's Jason Gibson. That's so funny.
Yeah, I don't think he's a Gibson though.
Okay. Oh, so she's just the boy. All right, just the boyfriend. They're not married. Gotcha.
Okay. Do you want to pull a card for Jason?
I feel like we probably both could. No.
I think we need to go pull a card. Okay, yeah. Jason. Let's see here. Okay. Oh. Okay.
All right, let's see what you want me to see what comes up first, because mine might be a good segue since mine's not in your face tarot.
You go ahead, because I'm not open a can of worms with this.
Uh-oh. Tarot always hands it to you. Ooh. Actually, this is a pretty good card. Dolphin, peace. Dolphin. The gentle nature of the dolphin reminds you to look for the good in everyone and strive to bring peace to your life and those around you. Trust your instincts and intuition rather than overthinking things.
Okay. That could very well go with this card. Okay. So this is the Ark of the Covenant card. And when I first heard Jason was, it's time to make the commitment. It's time to follow through on the commitment. And it's time to take the next step in that commitment. And yeah, I said I'm not open a can of worms. So I feel like that's with Renee. I feel like that's you and Renee. So yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
But with what you just said and the card that flipped for him, trust your instincts when you go into it and use your intuition.
Yeah. So
whatever it may be.
Yeah, don't kill the messenger. Okay, Renee, you knew. All right, and Melissa says thank you, and she says no, Miller is his last name. Okay, all right, awesome. Okay, I think that's got everyone. So yeah, so that was awesome. I could feel some energy rolling in here. So
yeah, I'm kind of sweaty myself.
Yeah, lots of tingles in my arms and stuff. Okay, perfect. We are done then, since that's it. Thank you, Matt. He said thank you. Thank you, everyone, for hopping on here and for listening to us tonight. Thank you so much, Alyssa. It has been a pleasure talking to you and hearing about your experiences and just your journey and what it's been like for you. So I really appreciate you taking the time to be on here tonight.
Thanks for having me and allowing me to speak freely.
Yeah, absolutely. So I greatly appreciate you. Thank you, everyone out there watching. That is all for tonight, and we will see you next time on the Happy Soul Show. See ya.